Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is Friday, October 2nd, and hope you're doing well today. Please do give this video a like and share it among your friends and family or whoever you think might find it useful. And also, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And leave me a comment below to let me know if you have any questions, concerns, comments about anything going on right now. I'd be happy to try to answer them for you. All right. So the kind of big news this week is that the House passed a revised version of the HEROES Act, which is honestly not surprising. These bigger bills have seemed to move through the House pretty easily. The real question is whether or not it will pass the Senate, which is, more doubtful. But there's a lot of things going on right here. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of the revised HEROES Act and then the counteroffer or the counter bill proposed by the White House. So first, the HEROES Act. So the HEROES Act has funding that's going to support a second round of PPP program. It's going to support education, airline workers, state and local governments. It's going to have a second round of stimulus checks, which is good news. And it's going to support an extra $600 a week of unemployment through the end of the year. Now that's pretty significant. All those things. The White House thinks that price tag is a little too high, so they actually did propose a counter offer, a counter bill. I don't know if there's a name for it. I don't really care. But it's going to have basically the same things, but some of the funding amounts will be lower. And this bill is going to have a price tag of $1.5 trillion, as opposed to the HEROES Act, the revised one, which is $2.2 trillion. So what does the White House counter bill offer? So let's see. It's got $250 billion for state and local governments, $400 of extra weekly unemployment benefits, and that's going to be backdated from September 12th through December 31st. There's going to be a second round of stimulus checks, $1,200, which is very similar to the first round, $1,200 per qualifying taxpayer and $500 per dependent. It's going to have $150 billion to education, $10 billion to the Postal Service, $160 billion to fund PPP Round 2, and $10 billion to minority businesses targeted through the PPP program. So I went into more detail on that one because I think that one has a better chance of passing House and Senate and President Trump. So, it's great that the House passed the HEROES Act. They passed the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act back in May or whatever it is. So it's no surprise there. Now we got to see what's going to go down between the Senate and the House. In terms of actual movements, nothing's really changed. I haven't done one of these stimulus videos in a while just because there's so much just back and forth talking. Nothing really actually is happening. So this week there's actually been some new bills passed, and I think that's kind of a big deal. But yet again, we just have to wait and see what really will happen. The Senate will be on recess. That means they're going to be doing state work on October 12th, starting October 12th. So that's just in a little under 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that they can get something done before then, or this could be the same situation as last time when they passed the HEALS Act and then they couldn't get anything done, they couldn't get a deal done, and then they went on recess basically. So now, in under 2 weeks, the Senate's going to go back to doing state work. And in the meantime, the House is still doing district work, but they are still managing to get things done. So, hopefully being on recess or being out on state work won't affect this too much. But, the chances are lower, much lower, once they do go back on recess. My opinion on this, I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I think both sides, the House and the Senate's, both are really stubborn in certain areas of the bill, certain contention points. They seem to really know what they want, or, they seem to have this non-negotiable aspect to it, and so that's making negotiations really challenging. I think the House, it's great that they want to help the people so much and provide so much funding for them. Obviously, the Republicans don't agree to spending that much money, and vice versa. The Republicans want to get something done too. They want a deal to pass, but the House won't accept anything less than what they want, basically. Or, they're budging just a little bit, not very much. So it seems to be in a gridlock, and that's kind of costing people their well-being, their lives, their jobs, their ability to get food on the table, their ability to pay rents, all that stuff. So hopefully they can get their shit together soon. But in terms of like my opinion and what I've seen, I really don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, I don't really have high hopes for a deal to get done before October 12th. But, you know, I could be wrong, and I hope that I am. To pivot off that a little bit, this is a time when you should not be solely relying on government money for your well-being. It's a time to get creative. It's a time to really think about what you can do to help yourself, to help your family, to help your business. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not going to sit here and shame you for taking unemployment or anything like that. However, if it's not enough money, you really have to figure something else out. Okay? Don't sit around and wait. You know, even if it's like writing to your senator or writing to your representative or contacting them, whatever it is, this is your time to get creative and take control and ownership of your life. So please think about that. Leave me a comment below if you need help with something like that, or just throw out some ideas out there. You know, I know some of you are really creative, or many of you, most of you probably are very creative and very driven people. So throw some comments below of your ideas on what you think might be helping you, or what you think you could do, or that's helping you and that could help others. Just throw some ideas out there. And lastly, just wanted to give you a quick update on what else is going on in this world. So the EIDL is still going strong. There's still a lot of funding left. The program is lasting much longer than I anticipated when this whole thing started. But you know, it helps that the loan amount is capped at $150,000 per entity, so that helps. But I think they've barely gone past half of the funding that they were given. So still going strong. Now the EIDG, the grant, has been out of commission for a couple months now. And yes, there are some bills that have been proposed to revive that grant program and to provide additional funding to the EIDL program. But those bills have not seen any movement, or have not seen much movement. In terms of PPP Forgiveness, there has still been not much going on there. Some banks might have released or allowed you to complete their PPP Forgiveness application, which is great, but that doesn't mean that there's any movements, because as you know, or maybe you don't know, the banks are the ones that give out the application. Then they're the ones that decide whether or not you can get your PPP forgiven based on the documentation you send them and your loan amount and all that stuff, whatever's on the application. Now, when they decide that you get your PPP forgiven, they have to send that to the SBA, and then the SBA has to approve it, and then the SBA will fund the bank so that you don't have to pay the bank back. So at this time, I don't think the SBA has accepted any applications yet for forgiveness. So it's just been the banks being more proactive, and I think some of the bigger banks might have started doing this. I know some smaller banks have as well. So I would just be on the lookout. And if you applied through Bluevine or Lendio or Cabbage, I don't think they've done anything yet. So I know you might be getting antsy. It's okay. Remember, you have 10 months after the last day of your covered period to file for forgiveness, which is a long time. So whatever day you got the loan, plus 24 weeks, plus 10 months, that is your due date for filing for forgiveness. And lastly, tax extensions. If you haven't filed your taxes yet and you filed an extension, that is due on October 15th in under 2 weeks. And it's just been a crazy ride of tax season. So get your stuff done, get together with your CPA, get that done before the 15th to make sure you file your taxes on time and reduce your penalties and interest and all that jazz. All right, so that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me again. And if you enjoyed the content of this video or found it helpful, please smash that like button, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and share this video with your friends or family or whoever you think might find it helpful. And of course, leave me a comment below with any questions or concerns you might have, okay? So take care for now, have a great weekend, and stay safe.
I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money.